Hey there, and welcome to another video on music appreciation. Today we're going to be talking about some of the music involved with weddings. Some weddings are different from others, but in the Western world of weddings, our weddings usually go something like this in order. It starts with pre-music, which includes 3 different pieces of music. The processional, which is for the parents and like the wedding party. And then you have the bride or partner single, which can either be done by one of the people who are being wedded as husband and wife, or they both can do it, and they can either sing or dance to the song that's being played. The unity candle would be the next thing, and what the unity candle signifies is that when 2 people have been wedded, it signifies their connection together of 2 lives joining with one another in love. It's supposed to signify a new life, or a new way of life being formed from 2 different people that are joining together. And then obviously you have the recessional, and then after most of the events is over, you have the post music, which is basically to signify the end of the wedding, and that the 2 will go on their honeymoon or whatever they plan to do. And it consists of usually like 8 to 10 pieces of music, sometimes even more. Again, not every wedding is the same, so they may have more pieces of music or less pieces of music, depending on what's going on and what the plan is. But that's how it generally goes in the Western world. Over in the East, it's a little bit different, but this is what we're used to whenever it comes to weddings and the ceremony behind it. Some of the music choices that I picked, I wanted to go a little bit different with this one and kind of have it mixed with like happy and sad emotions, and also like having feeling of being shocked and being surprised. But the first 3, which is the pre-music, the first 3 that I chose was from Johann Sebastian Bach, who did Toccata and Fugue in D minor. I also picked Sonata for Piano number 2, which is number 3, called The Funeral March by Frédéric Chopin. And then my third piece I chose was from Camille Saint-Saëns. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. It's called Danse Macabre. Now, the reason why I chose these ones, it's a little bit different from what you're used to hearing, because these songs either have like shock appeal, or they bring in a sad tone, or they can even sound like maybe a little bit scary too. I don't know, but I thought that maybe bringing these 2 in is more of a funeral than a wedding, so that's why I chose those 3. And each one comes from the classical period of music, or classical or Baroque period, as some people would call it, Baroque or Bork period. All 3 of these that came from that same era. And then the next one you have the processional. For the processional, I chose Amazing Grace, done by John Newton. He was also from the classical period of music, and some of his songs were relating to Christianity, like this one. And so the reason why I chose John Newton's Amazing Grace is because everyone's familiar with it. It gets everyone in the mood to sing a little bit. So that's why I chose John Newton's Amazing Grace. Then the next thing that comes up, or the next event, is the bride or partner dancing and singing. So for this one, it'll be singing, either in a single or sung by both people. And for this one, I chose Hear My Prayer, O Lord, done by Henry Purcell. And it was replicated by the Choir of Clare in Cambridge College. Same thing with this one. I chose this one because I feel like it would get people in the mood and see that this is more of a way to still show that God still has his hand in the lives of people that are trying to be together in holy matrimony, such as a wedding. Then the next song after that, too, would be for the same reason. And the next song would be a for a closer for a closer walk with God. It's a hymnal composed by Charles Stanford. And same thing, it was done by the Choir of Clare College over in Cambridge. So both of these songs in particular are important because of the relevance that they have in weddings done in like a church setting or something like that. But again, it's to show that when two people are God-fearing people and that they believe in a higher entity such as Yeshua or Yahweh, as we would call him now, or even Jesus, if that works too. It's to show that the importance of two people together is a bondage between not only the bride and the husband, but also with God. So it'd be kind of like a trilateral partnership, like with the sign of the cross. So you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It works in the same way of that too, but more of a ceremony kind of deal than in a spiritual setting. So the next one is called the Unity Candle, and what that is, if you don't know, is when both the bride and the husband light a candle, and that is to symbolize that they are now married and that they are living together now. This would sometimes happen in weddings, doesn't happen all the time, but it is optional. Sometimes either the bride or the husband or both will read a poem to each other or maybe even sing another song. And that's where this next song comes in. And it's called Oh for a Closer Walk with God. This one was done by Charles Stanford, as I said before. I believe that it has the same relevance that I talked about earlier, and it still brings people closer together that are in love, and it shows the importance of the husband and wife being in holy matrimony under God's roof, and being pronounced husband and wife under the authority of the preacher, but not only that, God himself, and has ordained it to be so, if they are truly in love with each other and wish to live the rest of their lives with each other. Then the next thing that comes up is the recessional. For this one, I went a little bit out of the classical music we're used to hearing, and I went into more classical music that was in movies or games. And then the first one that I picked, before I get to the post-music event, which is like the end of the wedding and everything, everyone's starting to leave and pack up. The first one that I picked was called Estella Opera House, and this isn't from a movie, but it's from a game called Lies of P. This was done by an Asian composer named Yue-kun Yu. Hopefully I pronounced that right. and he was responsible for composing most of the music in Lies of P. Now, if you don't know what Lies of P is, it's basically a game where you play as a quote-unquote puppet, or like a robot, and you try to figure out who you are and what your past, who was your creator and what you were meant to do. That's more of a summarized, rundown version of what the story of the game is. But that's the first piece of music that I chose for the recessional. Then the post music for the ending is called Stage of Grief, which is also from Lies of P as well, done by the same composer. The reason why I chose Estella Opera House is because it's more of a mysterious kind of feeling, so you kind of don't know what you're going to get out in the end of this wedding, I guess. It makes it more mysterious and more mystique. It keeps people on their toes, making them think that they should, tread carefully. Yeah, no pun intended, of course. But it kind of makes them feel like they're in a place that they would consider to be more out of touch. Because again, I wanted to do something different with this one, and I wanted to have people feel like, this is a little bit different. Kind of make them more interested in it in a more mystique way or a gloomy way. Just to have fun with it. And then Stage of Grief, the same reason I chose that, just to make them feel more interested and more, I guess you could say more, I was about to say in tune, but no, that's not the word I'm using. Make them feel a little bit out of touch with what's going on, because with them listening to the music and trying to get a grip of what's going on, they feel like that they're in a place that is mysterious and it's very odd and it's not your usual kind of music that you would hear at a wedding. And again, this is for fun, just trying to switch things up with the music. These pieces of music come from the after the postmodernism era, which would be like from like 2001 to now. And then I believe I may have not said anything about the past one, about the recessional. Oh no, I did. Okay. Yeah, no. So the recessional is called, let me look at that. Estella Opera House, and then post wedding music would be Stage of Grief. I just had to double check to make sure. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this video was informative and kind of fun. I was working my way around it, trying to see if I could play with it a little bit, see how a wedding that I was at, or that I would be at, would sound if I was being wedded as a husband to my wife and stuff like that, just to kind of play with it a little bit. But those are my 8 classical pieces of music that I chose. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you enjoy the music that I chose. But also, more importantly, I hope that this video was informative and teaches you a little bit more about weddings and the music that's involved with it. Some of it's a little bit odd, some of it's a little bit out of place. It's kind of here and there, and everything's planned differently everywhere. It's not that all weddings are planned the same way. It could be a different kind of music, could be a different kind of setting, but at least you get the idea. So, anyway, I hope that you all take care and have a great rest of your day. Take care.